Okay, today we're sharing a story, a really quite remarkable one, actually. It came to us from a listener over in Nakhon Ratchasima.
Yeah, it's quite the account. Spans several years, focuses on this one specific condo room.
So we're just going to lay out the events as they were told to us. It all kicks off back in 2010. We have this young woman, she's just finished vocational school, and she's moving to Korat for university.
Right, and straight away she hits that classic problem when you move to a new city.
Finding somewhere to live.
Exactly, especially trying to sort it out with friends joining you.
She was looking with two friends, Anne and Lynn, and obviously they wanted somewhere close to the university, convenient.
Makes total sense. But, well, you know how it is, those prime spots go fast.
In fact, they found out pretty quickly that basically everywhere near the uni was already full.
So that meant widening the search area.
They started looking a bit further out and eventually landed on this complex near a pretty popular spot in Korat. An 8-story building, seemed okay, had security, key cards, the lift, all that.
Looked decent, they saw a room, liked it, told the office staff, yeah, we'll take this one.
Their plan was to pop back home to Pak Chong for a couple of days, grab their stuff, and then come back to sign the lease. Move in properly.
And the staff even said, oh, don't worry about a deposit to hold it, which, seemed like a nice little bonus then.
Right. So, fast forward 2 days, they rock up back at the condo, cars loaded, bags, furniture, the works, ready for the keys.
Oh, boom. First curveball.
Yeah, they get told, oh, sorry, that room you picked, it's gone, taken. The whole building was full, apparently.
Can you imagine standing there, all your belongings?
Oh.
Just, wow.
Awful. But the staff did have another option ready.
They offered them room 813. It was on the 8th floor, but in a different building in the same complex.
Said it had just become available the day before.
They were desperate. They had all their stuff right there.
So they made a snap decision. Took room 813, sight unseen.
Didn't even go up to look first. Which, knowing what comes next, that's a pretty big moment.
And the room number itself, 813. The number 13 adds a little something, doesn't it? Even before they open the door.
Definitely sets a bit of a tone. So they grab the keys, sign the papers, and start lugging everything up to the 8th floor.
They finally get into 813, and honestly, the first impression wasn't bad.
No, it seemed okay. Furnished, fridge, TV, sofa, wardrobe, little dining table. Pretty standard student setup.
The only snag was the bed situation. Just one queen-size bed. Fine for two, but there were 3 of them.
Right. So our listener, Bua, that's the name used in the account, she volunteered to sleep on the floor, had her own picnic mat.
She picked a spot on the floor right next to the bed. And while she's setting up, she looks up.
And notices something on the ceiling, directly above where she's planning to sleep.
Yeah, she said it looked like a cobweb, but with this weird bit of fabric sticking out of it.
Tried to sweep it down with a broom, right?
Yep, but it wouldn't come off. Stuck fast. She even tried climbing on a chair to pull it, but it was too high, it wouldn't budge.
So she just left it.
Yeah, just left it there. A tiny little detail, you think nothing of it at the time.
But maybe not so tiny in the long run.
So the first week or so in room 813, totally normal. Nothing weird happened. They're settling in, starting classes.
It was making new friends at uni.
And it's one of these new friends, someone actually from Korat, who first says something that makes her pause.
Ah, the local knowledge.
Exactly. Her friend asks where she's staying. Bua mentions the condo name, and the friend gets this look, like concern.
And she asked specifically, which building are you in?
Yeah. And when Bua said, oh, the newer one, her friend visibly relaxed. Like, oh, thank God.
That's quite a reaction.
Definitely got Bua curious. So the friend explains. Years ago, there was apparently a suicide in the first building, the older one.
Oh.
Yeah, a woman jumped. The story got hushed up, but locals knew, and there were always rumors about strange things happening over there. So the friend was just relieved Bua wasn't in that building.
Okay. Now, Bua, at this point, she didn't really believe in ghosts, right?
Not really. So she found it a bit unsettling, but kind of filed it away. Importantly, though, she decided not to mention it to Anne and Lynn.
Didn't want to spook them.
Exactly. Knew they'd freak out.
Fair enough. But then, maybe only a week after hearing that story, something else unexpected happens.
Lynn, one of the roommates, out of the blue, announces she's moving out.
Just like that. What reason did she give?
Said her dad wanted her back home in Pak Chong. Immediately.
Wow. Okay, and she actually left.
That same evening. Packed up and gone. Super abrupt.
Strange. So after Lynn leaves, it's just Bua and Anne.
Anne suggests Bua can take the spot on the bed now. But Bua, I don't know, maybe she was just used to her spot, decided, nah, I'll sleep on the floor one more night.
And that night?
That was the night things got really bad.
Okay.
She set her alarm for 8 a.m. Class was until the afternoon. Went to sleep.
Alarm goes off at 8. She wakes up.
But she can't move at all. Just completely pinned down, heavy. Only her head could move a tiny bit.
Classic sleep paralysis. Terrifying.
Totally. She's lying there, stuck, the alarm's still ringing. And then it stops. Silence. She manages to turn her head and sees him.
Sees who?
A man. Standing at the foot of her mat.
Oh, wow. Did she recognize him?
No.
Yeah.
She described him really clearly, though. Pale skin, small eyes, longish hair tucked back, wearing a black t-shirt and slacks.
Okay. So her first thought must have been...
Intruder. Burglar. Pure panic. She tried to scream, tried to yell for Anne, but nothing came out. Just trapped.
Horrifying.
And then he moved, walked around to her side where she was lying, and sat down. Right next to her.
No.
And then he leaned down and spoke.
What did he say?
He said, I like you very much.
Oh my God. That's chilling.
The fear just ramped up. This wasn't just scary, this was dangerous intruder scary.
But then something shifted.
Yeah, she said this really strong feeling just washed over her, like an intuition. This wasn't a living person. This wasn't a burglar.
He was a ghost.
Yes, that's what hit her. And in that absolute peak terror, still paralyzed, she closed her eyes and just screamed in her head for her mom. Mom, help me! Mom, help me!
Desperate plea.
And instantly, the second she thought it, the paralysis just vanished. She could move.
Wow.
Opened her eyes. He was gone.
Just gone.
Completely alone. First thing she did, jumped up, checked the main door, checked the balcony door.
Locked.
Bolted. Locked tight from the inside. No way anyone got in.
So that sealed it for her.
Yeah. That's when she had to accept it. She'd seen a ghost.
Did she tell Anne straight away about the man?
No. Kept that part to herself. Still processing. Probably terrified of how Anne would react.
Understandable. But the strangeness didn't stop, did it?
No, it just got subtler for a bit. She started noticing things while showering.
How so?
Well, the bathroom had this little window looking onto the balcony, right?
Okay.
And when she was in the shower, she kept seeing a shadow. Like a person moving around out on the balcony through that little window.
Repeated.
Yeah. Happened multiple times. And every time she'd finish showering, go out, ask Anne, hey, were you just on the balcony?
And Anne would say,
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't me. Every single time.
okay, that would get annoying. And suspicious.
Totally. It happened so often.
Yeah.
Anne eventually picked up on it. She finally asked Bua, what's going on? Why do you keep asking if I was on the balcony?
The confrontation.
Yeah. Bua was hesitant, didn't want to sound crazy, so she kind of downplayed it, said, oh, I keep thinking I see shadows out there. Maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks.
Testing the waters.
Exactly. And Anne's reaction wasn't dismissal. It was surprise.
What did she say?
She said, Bua, you see it too.
Ah. So Anne knew.
Anne confessed she'd been seeing the shadow as well,
Yeah.
right from when they moved in.
Wow.
At first she thought it was Lynn moving around out there.
Yeah.
Then Lynn left, and she still saw it. Sometimes when Bua wasn't even home.
So she knew something was weird but didn't say anything either.
Yeah. Same reason as Bua didn't want to scare her roommate.
Incredible. Both of them seeing things, both too scared to tell the other.
So now they both know. The room is definitely weird. Bua still doesn't mention the man, the full encounter. But they agree, okay, this place feels wrong. We should try and move rooms.
Makes sense. So what did they do?
Went down to the condo office.
And asked for a different room.
Yeah, but they didn't say because it's haunted. They used an excuse.
What did they say?
Said the room was too hot being on the top floor.
Plausible excuse. And the office said,
Sorry, no other rooms available. Building's full.
oh, back to square one. Stuck.
Pretty much. So despite knowing it was weird, despite trying to leave, they ended up staying.
For how long?
The entire time they were at uni.
About 2 years,
2 years. In that room. Knowing what they knew.
apparently. The account mentions Anne was really reluctant to go through the hassle of moving all their stuff again, especially like heavy bookshelves full of textbooks.
The practicalities win out over the paranormal. Happens, I guess. Seems so. Okay, so let's jump forward. 2 years have passed. Graduation is getting close. Bua comes back to the condo after a break, a couple of days before Anne gets back.
She's alone in the room again.
Yep. And she decides, right, I need answers about this room's actual history.
Who did she ask this time?
She went to one of the staff members she knew reasonably well, Python. Felt comfortable enough to just Ask her straight out.
Did anyone die in room 813?
Exactly. Point blank.
And Python's reaction.
Surprise. And a really firm no. Absolutely not. Said nobody died in that room. Building has no history like that. He even kind of joked. Bua must be imagining things, seeing ghosts.
Huh, a flat denial.
Yeah. And hearing that so confidently from someone who worked there, it actually made Bua doubt herself again.
Started thinking maybe it was all in her head.
Maybe stress, maybe imagination. Yeah. But then, that same night, alone in the room, she had a dream.
Another significant dream.
Very significant. She dreamed about the ghost again, the man she'd seen. Pan.
What happened in the dream?
This time, he was wearing a different uniform. Not the black shirt. It was a white shirt, slacks. The uniform for Rajamangala Izan University.
The university right next door to hers.
Exactly. And in the dream, he came up to her, called her Bua, smiled, and invited her to go back to the room with him.
Creepy invitation. How did she react in the dream?
Interestingly, not just terror this time. She actually asked him directly, "Are you a ghost? Do you want merit?"
Wow, bold move in a dream.
And he answered her. He said, "I'm not here to scare you." And then he told her his name.
He said,
"My name is Pan."
Pan. He gave her his name.
Yep. And right after he said it, she woke up. Abruptly.
Whoa, and then?
Literally, the moment she woke up, her phone rings.
Seriously, who was it?
Her dad. Calling from downstairs. He and her mom had just arrived for a visit, bring her some stuff.
Unbelievable timing. Had her mom ever been up to the room before?
No, this is the first time. And her mom, well, Bua describes her as having a bit of spiritual sensitivity. Goes to temple, meditates, that kind of thing.
Okay. So mom walks into room 813.
And immediately feels it. Stops. Feels uncomfortable. Says she feels short of breath. Just, this room doesn't feel right. A really strong, instant reaction.
Coming from her mom, that must have been a huge confirmation for Bua.
Absolutely. All the doubt Python had planted. Gone. Her mom strongly advised her, you need to move rooms.
Right. So after the dream with Pan giving his name and her mom's reaction, did things change in the room?
Yes. Completely. The strange stuff just stopped.
No more man, no more shadows on the balcony.
Nothing. It all went quiet.
Huh. Weird. So, because it stopped, she felt okay staying, even after her mom's warning.
Seems like it. The lack of activity made her feel comfortable enough to just stick it out until graduation. Finished her 2 years there.
Okay. And during that quieter period, she started dating someone.
Yeah, got a boyfriend. He'd sometimes come visit, stay over.
And did he experience anything?
Oh, yes. The presence, whatever it was, seemed to react to him.
How so?
One night, the boyfriend was staying over. They'd had a little tiff, nothing major, but he ended up deciding to sleep on the floor.
On the spot where Bua used to sleep.
On the exact spot. And in the middle of the night, he starts calling out Bua's name. Bua! Bua!
Nightmare.
Sounded like it. She woke him up. He was really shaken.
Yeah.
Said he dreamed a man attacked him.
Attacked him? How?
He described the man. Pale, small eyes, black shirt.
Pan's description.
Exactly. So the man stood on his chest in the dream, yelling at him, causing real pain.
Whoa. Okay, Bua must have known instantly who he meant.
Immediately. She tried to calm him down. Just a bad dream for the moment. Decided she'd tell him the full story later, once he was back home.
Smart move. So did she tell him?
Yeah, after he went back to Suphanburi, she laid it all out. The ghost, the name Pan, Anne seeing the shadow, Lynn leaving, everything.
And his reaction.
He confirmed it. The description she gave of Pan, exactly the man from his nightmare.
Okay, that's huge. Now it's not just Bua and Anne, it's the boyfriend too. 3 people.
Right. That really solidified it for Bua. This was real. The staff denial meant nothing now.
So, graduation's coming up. She's about to move out for good. But she still wants the definitive story of the room, right?
Absolutely. One last attempt to get the truth.
Who did she try this time?
She targeted one of the security guards. Pai Roar Por.
Yeah.
Someone who'd been working there for a long, long time.
Figured he might know something the office staff wouldn't say.
Exactly. She started chatting with him casually, then steered it towards room 813. Said, a friend of mine stayed there, experienced some weird things.
Testing the waters again? Did he bite?
He was hesitant at first, didn't really want to talk about it.
Understandable. Probably worried about his job.
But then Bua mentioned, oh, it's okay, I'm moving out tomorrow anyway. For good.
That changed things.
It did. The guard kind of relaxed and said something like, oh, he's still there, is he? I thought maybe he'd moved on by now.
Oh, wow. Confirmation.
Bingo. Bua knew then. The guard knew there was a ghost.
So what was the full story?
The guard finally spilled it.
Yeah.
years back, before Bua moved in, a young male student from the Rajamangala University next door.
The one Pan wore the uniform of in the dream.
Yes, that student had committed suicide. In room 813, he hanged himself in the ceiling, used an electric wire.
Oh my God. The ceiling? Where Bua saw the cobweb and fabric?
That connection seems likely, doesn't it? The guard said the condo management hushed the whole thing up. Didn't want bad press.
Covered it up. So they closed the room for a bit.
Closed it for a while, then just reopened it, rented it out again.
Unbelievable. Did the guard know about other tenants having issues?
Yes. He specifically mentioned the tenant right before Bua and her friends. Said they only lasted about 2 months.
Why did they leave?
They reported encountering a pale, small-eyed man. Same description.
Wow. So Bua wasn't the first after Pan.
Not at all. The guard even said he helped that previous tenant move out and kept quiet about why, keep his job.
And did he know why Pan? Why the student did it?
The story he'd heard was heartbreak. Girlfriend left him.
Tragic. So Bua finally had the whole awful truth. The ghost was Pan, the student who died right there in her room.
Exactly. Okay, so years go by now. Bua's graduated, moved back home, working as a teacher. Life moves on. She's maybe 25. The condo stuff is kind of fading into the past.
Until
she has a pretty bad motorcycle accident.
Oh no. Was she okay?
She was, remarkably. A car stopped. Suddenly she swerved, fell, tumbled hard, hit her head even with a helmet on.
Sounds serious.
It looked bad. People who saw it were shocked. But she just got up. Minor scrapes, bruises, nothing broken. Felt weirdly unharmed.
That is lucky.
Extremely lucky. So the next day, her mom takes her to see this respected nun they know.
To maybe get a blessing or something after the accident?
Yeah, something like that. They're talking about the accident, how lucky Bua was. And the nun, completely out of the blue, says something stunning.
What did she say?
She looked at Bua and said, "You are very lucky you have a protective ghost." In Thai.
Yeah.
Karan. Vai Kum Krong.
Whoa. Just like that. Without being told anything.
Nothing about the condo, nothing about Pan. Bua's mom was obviously surprised, asked the nun to explain.
And the nun?
She asked Bua, "What did you bring back with you?" Said this spirit had followed her from where she used to live.
Followed her from the condo.
Yes. And that there was a past life connection between them. And crucially, the nun said the spirit, had protected her in the accident. That's why she wasn't seriously hurt.
Incredible. Did the nun describe him?
Described him as a handsome, pale man.
Pale.
Bua knew instantly. It had to be Pan.
But why would he follow her? Ghosts are usually tied to where they died, right?
That's exactly what Bua and her mom were wondering. How can he leave the condo?
So what was the nun's explanation? Did she get this from Pan?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
Based on her reading, Pan's perspective was this. First, Bua disturbed his death spot when she tried to mess with the ceiling thing.
Okay.
Second, she then slept right there, on the very spot where he died, night after night.
Creating a connection.
And third, maybe the clincher. When she was packing to leave for good, she'd apparently said out loud, maybe just thinking to herself, "Let's go back to Pakchon."
An unintentional invitation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Thai belief, spirits can sometimes take those casual remarks literally. So, disturb the spot, sleep on the spot, invite him along.
Plus the past life connection the nun mentioned.
Right. All those things combined, according to the nun's insight, allowed him to form this deep attachment and follow her.
Fascinating. So what did the nun suggest they do?
Gave him 2 options. 1, try to take his spirit back to the condo somehow. 2, make merit for him consistently, help him move on, be reborn.
Did the nun think he was dangerous?
No. She reassured them he wasn't harmful. He was protective, like in the accident. But she did mention he couldn't actually enter their family home. He just waited outside.
Okay. So, option 1, take him back. Seems difficult.
Yeah, Bua thought that was pretty impractical. So she chose option 2, make merit for Pan, help his spirit.
Did the nun say anything else about Pan?
Just a really poignant detail. She said Pan was sad about his suicide, wished he'd waited. Maybe implying he could have met Bua in life if he hadn't.
Oh wow, heavy.
So Bua started doing that meditating, making merit specifically for Pan. Regularly. And she'd still dream about him sometimes.
Still connected.
Yeah. Sometimes in the uniform, sometimes the black shirt, sometimes dreams where they were traveling together.
And what about the boyfriend? The one who had the nightmare?
Yes. Another piece reinforcing the protective angle. At some point later, he was ordained as a monk for a period.
Okay.
And while he was a monk, he had a dream. A man in a black shirt came to him and basically said, Focus on your practice. I'll take care of Bua.
Pan again, watching over her.
Seems like it.
Yep.
Okay, so fast forward again. After graduation, Bua eventually meets up with Anne and Lynn again. They start talking about the old condo.
Time for some truths to come out.
Big time. Bua shares more of her story and learns she was actually the last one to see the ghost directly.
How so?
Lynn drops a bombshell. The real reason she bolted so suddenly back then wasn't just her dad.
What was it?
She confessed she'd been seeing a dark figure sleeping on the floor right next to Bua. Every single night.
What? Sleeping next to Bua?
That's what Lynn said she saw. She was utterly terrified, but too scared to tell anyone, so she just fled.
Oh my God. So Bua had Pan literally next to her, and Lynn was seeing it. Incredible. They all kept these secrets.
Sure does that, right. They were all scared, but trying to protect each other by staying silent.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so what's the final chapter with Pan? Bua kept making merit.
Kept making merit for years. From around 2010, when it started, until about 2016. And then she had one last dream about him.
The farewell.
It seemed like it. In the dream, he was standing outside her house. He called out goodbye to her, said he was leaving now, told her to take care of herself.
Yeah.
And he gave her one specific warning. He said, if one day you face heartbreak, don't do what I did.
Don't commit suicide like he did.
Exactly. She woke up, told her mom about the dream. Her mom felt strongly this was it. Pan had finally moved on, was going to be reborn.
A resolution.
But the timing. It's almost unbelievable.
Why? What happened?
Very soon after that farewell dream, Bua discovered her boyfriend. The same one from before had been cheating on her.
Oh no. The exact kind of heartbreak Pan had warned her about.
Precisely. She was devastated, heartbroken. Exactly the state Pan must have been in.
And did she remember his warning?
Yes. She said in that moment of absolute despair, his words from the dream came back to her. Don't do what I did.
Wow.
And according to her account, remembering that warning literally stopped her from going down a dark path, from considering suicide herself. It helped her get through it.
So in a way, his final act was protecting her again.
It really seems that way. A final, crucial piece of guidance.
What an incredible story arc. So what's the situation now?
Well, Boo still tells the story. Says sometimes people don't believe her, but having Anne, Lynn, and her ex-boyfriend all independently experience things, and that's her confirmation.
And the condo building.
Still standing, apparently. Renovated now, people living there. But for Bua, and now for us, that building, especially room 813, holds this incredibly intense personal history.
Yeah, this isn't your typical jump scare ghost story, is it? It's so much more layered.
Not at all. It's about tragedy, connection, maybe even a strange kind of affection or protection from the other side.
We've shared it just as our listener recounted it. Lots to think about there.
Definitely. It really makes you wonder about those connections, the seen and the unseen.
Is it possible for bonds like that, protective ones even, to cross that boundary? And what does that say about the ties we form, maybe without even realizing it? Something to ponder.
For sure. A truly memorable account.
Absolutely. Well, that's the story we wanted to share with you today. We hope you found it as compelling as we did.
And hey, if you did enjoy this story and want to hear more like it, please do give us a like, maybe share it with a friend, and definitely subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, subscribe to Horror Docs. We'll be back soon with another story. Thanks for listening.
Bye for now.